Shohei Ohtani gave us a jaw-dropping two-way performance, only for it to go to waste, and now the Dodgers division lead is down to 2 games.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Shohei Ohtani puts on a show, dealing on the mound and delivering at the plate. But the big question, will he get a chance to be a true ace this season, or is he locked into the opener role? Meanwhile, the defense and bullpen collapse, and the Dodgers drop the home series to the Cardinals. We're talking all about it in today's episode of Locked On Dodgers. He's Travis Rogers. I'm Harry Ruiz, two guys who talk sports for a living and bleed Dodger blue for life. If you're an early bird listener of our show, you can get more Travis on 710 ESPN LA or the ESPN LA app from 9 a.m. to noon with the Travis and DeMarco show. As for me, I'm the Spanish play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and USC football, but nothing beats jumping on the mic every weekday morning and diving deep into what I love most, talking Dodger baseball with you. You think you've seen it all from Shohei Ohtani? Then there's always this next game for him to have a chance at doing something that makes jaws hit the floor. He became the first player since the RBI became an official stat in 1920 to hit a home run, strike out at least 8 batters, drive in more runs than he allowed, and draw more walks than he allowed. And yet, the Dodgers lost. Infuriating, maddening, irritating. In our first month and change hosting this show, Travis, we just keep on saying synonyms to the word frustrating because, Travis, that's pretty much what it has been for Dodger baseball since the month of July.
Yeah, frustrating is a word that we've used a lot, Harry. You're right. And I'm changing from frustration to concern. I think that, frustration is, why isn't it the way that it's supposed to be? And I felt like that's the way that this Dodger team has been playing for the better part of maybe 2 months. And now it's gone into, hey, are they just not as good as we thought they are? Because 2 months is enough of a sample. And look, one guy can dip while another guy surges, and that's just the way that baseball goes. But there are some parts of this team that you just start to consider, maybe this is just going to be the way that it is. The bullpen might just be the way that it is. The defense might just be the way that it is. And, if they hit a bunch of home runs or, then they're going to beat anybody. But on the days where they don't hit a bunch of home runs, it gets concerning really quick. I mean, we're in the first week of August still, so there's a lot of time left, but there's not a ton of time left, and they have to start cleaning it up for sure.
Yeah, and we've said it before. All our everydayers know that I'm just saying it over and over again. Home run dependent. Shohei Ohtani, he can't hit 15 home runs in a game to just be like, okay, we got this game in the bag. And even looking at it how it is, he got 1 for 4, his one being a home run, a 2-run home run, more than half of the production this team had, sending runners to the plate on Wednesday afternoon at Dodger Stadium. That can't be the way that we go along with things, and this has to change. But for the reigning and defending, potentially back-to-back National League MVP, to do what he did from the mound as well, 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 8 strikeouts, then adding the home run and drawing a walk in 3 at-bats, it's something we're fortunate to be alive in 2025 to witness. But can this team please get their act right? Look at the rest of the team, Travis. With the exceptions of Freddie Freeman, who got 3 hits, and Alex Call, who got a pair in 3 at-bats, the rest of the team went 2 for 24. Yep. That's a batting average of less than 100. And besides a hit for Mookie Betts and Andy Pages, the only other player to get on base was Max Muncy with a pinch hit walk in the 9th inning. So Max Muncy-like. It's incredible how you go from a 17-hit and 12-run performance on Tuesday to an anemic outing with the bats on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's so I understand why they didn't have Muncy in the lineup yesterday. Only I don't understand why they didn't have Muncy in the lineup yesterday. The man is white hot. He hits a couple of home runs. He has a 4-hit day. The ball probably looks like a beach ball coming in at him. And we sit him down because there's a left-handed pitcher on. I just don't understand. I know what the math says, but hot is hot. Hot trumps math. And I just don't understand why they did that. And then he comes in and he draws a walk. So I think that the offense flatlining again is at least partially because Max Muncy was not in the order. And I'm not saying that Muncy changes everything every game, every night, but he's an important part of what they do. So I didn't like that. I want to go back to what you were saying about Shohei a second ago and how you read off that stat, for the first time since the RBI has become an official stat. And, going back to the 1920s, I feel like we say that every time he plays. I feel like every time Shohei Ohtani steps onto a baseball field at the end of the afternoon or at the end of the night, we're having something that starts with the first player to ever blank, or for the first time since, Prohibition, or the first time since Babe Ruth, or the first time since this stat was invented or that stat was invented. Shohei Ohtani did X, Y, and Z. I don't think it'll ever become routine because, it's Shohei Ohtani and he plays for the Dodgers. So we're always going to be paying pretty close attention to it. But what he did yesterday was mind bending. I mean, to the home run, quite frankly, sure. He's a home run hitter. He's got, 38 or 39 home runs right now?
39.
39. And we've gotten used to seeing a home run hitter hit home runs. That's good. But to see a home run hitter go out there and just completely dominate the opposition on the mound. This was, like you said, 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. They only put the ball in play 3 times. This was an extraordinary performance where the other team, full of major league players, no chance at all. When he looks like that, that is why when you hear guys like John Smoltz talk on national broadcasts and say things like, if Shohei Ohtani were a full-time pitcher, he might be the best pitcher in baseball. You saw it yesterday. This was not just a guy who is able to have, 2 different paths on a diamond, to hit and to pitch. This is the best slugger in baseball, or one of them, and the best pitcher in baseball, or one of them. And you saw it in both components yesterday, the home run and just utter domination, incredible velocity, incredible command, incredible the ability to put guys away. I know we're going to talk about the bullpen here in a little bit. And that's the secret sauce, to get to 2 strikes. A lot of people can get there, but can you get that 3rd strike and knock a guy out? And Ohtani was knocking one guy out after the next.
Yeah, and the way that the Cardinals scored their run. We're going to talk about the defense also at the same time as the bullpen later in the show, but they had Miguel Rojas lose a ball in the sky with the sun. Then they stole second base. They moved the runner over to third with a productive out, and then with a bunt, they brought him home. That's the only way they were able to get a run off of Shohei Ohtani, because as Dodgers fans, and we watch the games more often than not, us pretty much every single day, we know the promotion about the free burger when there's a 7 strikeouts in a game. Shohei Ohtani got that in 3 innings and 2/3, and then he was like, all right, let me add another one to end the 4th inning and just be like, there you go. 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. We are fortunate as crazy to have this. And unfortunately for Shohei, he got the Anaheim experience. He got throwbacks. He got flashbacks, because I always used to joke with friends because we like making fun of the Angels. And I said, when Shohei was with the Angels, I would say, yeah, he probably hit 5 home runs. He probably threw a no-hitter, and the Angels still lost some way, somehow. And that's how it felt yesterday, where Shohei pretty much did all he could, but the rest of the team couldn't deliver.
Yeah, it's a really good point. What Ohtani did yesterday, I really hope does not get lost in the sauce because they lost the game. That was, I don't want to say it's the high water mark for him as a Dodger player, because we've seen him go 50-50. We've seen him play in the World Series. He's had some extraordinary nights, but that was the Shohei Ohtani that made everybody go bonkers and the Dodgers give him $700 million. This guy that can go to the plate, change the game with 1 swing, and then go to the mound and leave the opposition with no chance at all. And it really is. It's only 4 innings. It's not like he went and threw 7 or 8 innings, but that was clearly a player that was going to dominate that game if he were allowed to stay in. And I understand why they didn't leave him in, but I hope that everybody understands, and I think they do. And this is one of the great things about Ohtani. Enjoy this. because you're never going to see it again. We may see another guy that's a two-way player at some point. He might have cracked the door open for that the way that Steph Curry cracked open the door for everybody shooting threes, but you're not going to see this again where he's a 10 out of 10 slugger, a 10 out of 10 pitcher, and I don't know how much longer he's going to pitch. I don't think he's going to pitch for the entire 10 years he's here in Los Angeles. I think it's probably much less than that, but we're getting to see it right now, so I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, and now when you see the Japanese superstar, wouldn't you want more from him, or should we just cap him? Next on Locked On Dodgers, is it smart for the Dodgers to limit Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher, to not surpass the 5 innings pitched mark in 2025?
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is heating up. Harry knows, I know, we do a little football as well, and college football, well, not far behind as well. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season. Get it all in there before week 1 kicks off. So whether you've got your eye on a big-name quarterback or maybe a breakout running back, Harry might know something about that too, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. For instance, Josh Allen, this season, Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, more or less than 27.5 touchdowns feels like a really interesting number, more or less, right? Unbelievable numbers like that all over Prize Picks, and the flex play option is a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you still could double your money. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. It's a ton of fun. It's super easy to use, more or less on all the things we're paying attention to anyway. Prize Picks, run your game.
Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rogers on X and Instagram. And meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Let us know if you want more Shohei Ohtani on the mound, or if you're okay with him not going beyond 5 innings pitched, because that's what Dave Roberts said Wednesday at Dodger Stadium. The reality is that the Dodgers don't need him, with the way that they can send arms out of the bullpen to get through the whole game, and 9 innings is where they're comfortable with him. So, Travis, that's the question. Ace or opener? Are you cool with the Dodgers just limiting him to 5?
I'm okay with them limiting him to 5 innings in certain situations. I think where we are right now in the season as we sit here in the first week of August, and him coming off of not pitching really for a year and a half and going through a second elbow surgery, I'm 100% okay with the way that they've managed his workload up until this point. I'm 100% okay with him not going beyond 5 innings through the end of the month, and probably through the middle towards the end of September. What I hope is not locked in stone, what I hope is not a hard and fast rule, is that he will only pitch 5 innings in the postseason. I think that's where the rubber meets the road. I think you have a guy that can win a game by himself. He can just dominate to a level on the mound where you have no shot. And you saw what it looked like yesterday. That was a guy that was in complete control of the game. And look, at some point, the goal of having Shohei Ohtani on your team, the purpose of having Shohei Ohtani on your team, is to win games and to win the World Series and to stack championships. To protect him from himself, for what do we protect? Like I said a second ago, at some point, he's not going to pitch anymore. At some point, he's going to be exclusively an offensive player. I don't know when hopefully it's 5, 6, 7 years down the road. Nobody knows for sure. But while he's able to do what he's able to do, let's go for it. I'm not saying you go for it yesterday. I understand exactly what they're doing now to get him ready. But when we get into the postseason, that 5 inning, glass ceiling or glass wall or whatever we want to call it, I hope it's gone, because he was efficient. He wasn't throwing a ton of pitches. And just because he's hit 5 innings doesn't mean, that was a pretty easy 5 innings for him. Let's see that 6th inning. Let's see that 7th inning, because in the playoffs, in the postseason, we're here to win championships and not just always be protecting the thing that comes down the road. I'm okay with protecting now, because beating the Cardinals last night doesn't, make or break your season. But Shohei Ohtani looking like that in the 5th inning of an October game, That is the difference between making or breaking your season. And I hope when we get in October that rule or guideline or whatever we want to call it is kind of thrown off to the side.
Yeah, and you can look into October where teams are just begging for somebody to pull their starting pitcher and get to the bullpen. And if Shohei Ohtani is dealing, leave him in there. And I'll go back to last week. He was cramping. He wasn't feeling good. As a Dodgers fan, I freaked out. I absolutely was nervous like crazy because I was like, did we just lose Shohei Ohtani? And then an inning later, he was out there batting again. And he did so again towards the end of the game where I'm like, okay, he's good. And then we find out he was cramping. And then you look at the circumstances with the extreme heat and the humidity being combined in Tampa Bay because they're playing in a minor league park or a spring training facility, however you want to call it, instead of playing at Tropicana Field because of the hurricane not long ago damaging the stadium. Every other team down there, they play in domed stadiums. They don't mess around with the circumstances, with the weather. Over here in LA yesterday, it was hot. But it was hot. It wasn't as humid as it was over there in Tampa Bay. So he was able to dominate. He was able to deal. He won't be facing that kind of circumstance anytime soon either in the regular season or the playoffs. So I'm way more relaxed. And now the thing is, I think it's a perfect circumstance next week. With all due respect to Anaheim, with all due respect to Orange County, screw Anaheim. Don't give him Shohei Ohtani next Wednesday, as he's been pitching every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Leave that for the Friday if that follows the series finale in Anaheim. Let him pitch at home against the Padres, and there, let him go 5. And if he's dealing, he's wheeling and dealing, he's feeling himself, let him go an extra inning. I don't feel like they'll give him the chance to do so because they want to protect him from himself. They want to protect him from potentially getting hurt because he's doing too much. But this is Shohei Ohtani. If he doesn't feel like he wants to be out there, he'll let you know. He won't just be out there pitching. So I'm like, let him tell you how to do things. He wanted to come back and pitch as soon as possible. And that's why he came back and pitched. They hear what he says. And we have one of the best superstars in baseball history. So let him tell you how he feels. Don't tell him how he feels. Let him tell you how he feels.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a big component of it too, is taking his input and deciding, hey, are you fresh? And I think putting limitations on guys like this is always a mistake. You don't want to go too far, but you also don't want to be cautious to the point of not being able to maximize the talent that you have. It's, I'll use a bad LA analogy here. Those of us that, live here in this city, it's like having a really nice car that you never take out of the driveway, right? That I understand you don't want to drive the car to and from work every day at heavy traffic and all those things. That's not what the car is designed to do. But on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, if you want to take and drop the top on that thing and cruise around, that's what it's here for. And that's where we're getting with Shohei Ohtani. It's like, it is Saturday afternoon. It is a beautiful day. Drop the top on that thing and drive the car. You can't always be telling yourself that, I'm going to do it another time. I'm going to go do it when it's more important. Well, we're getting down into the more important time. I don't know if I would tinker with his the rotation right now. I don't know if I would tinker with the timeline. I think one of the things that is Ohtani's great strength is his ability to manage his own schedule, his ability to prepare to hit major league pitching, his ability to prepare to get major league hitters out. And I think he knows, on this day I do this, at this time I do that. And if all of a sudden you're pulling him back to push him into a different series, I understand the instinct, and we'll see. Maybe it gets to the point where, the Padres and Dodgers are in a tooth and nail fight and you got to throw your best guys at the most important moments. But right now, I would stay in the pocket. I would stay in that rhythm of every Wednesday. We're gonna slowly move you up from 1 inning to 2, cup to 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 to 4, and eventually we're gonna get to 5. But by the time we get into September and October, I want those guardrails gone, and I want him, like you just said, Harry. He can be the one that decides, I feel good, I don't feel good, take me out, leave me in. He knows his body better than everybody else. There is no guidebook for this. And I think, you hear Joe Davis talk about it on the broadcast. You hear Oral Hershiser talk about it. You hear Dave Roberts talk about it after games. There is no blueprint on what to do with a player like this. There's never been a player like this. It's not, they're figuring it out in real time of when does he pitch? When does he hit? What's the limit? What's too much? What's not enough? And they're trying to figure it out as they go. I'm glad they're missing on the low side, but we're getting closer to games where the actual result of the game matters every night. And I think you're going to get different decisions.
Absolutely. And Shohei, one of a kind, one of one. And now let's see if he's the one that gets us to back. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, despite the mostly bad afternoon from the Dodgers lineup, Los Angeles still had a chance to win it late in the game, but the defense and bullpen absolutely blew it. How many games can they afford? Keep giving away games like this. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands instead of your couch. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. Food, drinks, and merch keep getting more expensive at stadiums. Well, you can splurge on them now with the money you save on tickets because Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch, a concert, or show. Getting incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and the lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming MLB game like the big Los Angeles against Toronto series going down this weekend in Chavez Ravine. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. What time is it? It's game time. Thanks for making us your first listen wherever you may be tuning in, either on your favorite podcast app or on our YouTube channel. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and the Dodgers postcast show with Pete Fox live after the final out of every game. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers, like Mr./X, who said in our comment section, our middle relief is our weakness. Travis, over the 9-game road trip, the Dodgers relievers, they were lights out. 31 and 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs. Then in this series against the Cardinals, 11 innings pitched, 9 earned runs, an ERA of 7.36 to Mr./X points. The middle relief looked weak. But then when Alex Vesia looked that way on Wednesday, allowing 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, I'm just thinking, okay, it just wasn't his day.
No, Vesia, I think, has been the guy that has been the most reliable bullpen arm all season long. You know, occasionally you're going to have a hiccup. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Vesia other than he just was not at his best yesterday. That's just one of those things that happens. Responding to the comment about, the middle relief being the problem, I disagree. I think it's the entire relief corps. I think it's the entire bullpen. It's not like they have answers at the back end that they just can't get to. I don't think that's been the problem at all. The problem has been when that starter comes out of the game, with the exception of Vesia, how many of these guys do you feel really good about coming out of there? And quite frankly, I think the answer is, none. There are days where Kasperius looks really good. There are days where Dreyer has been really good. There are days when I thought Bonda the other night pitched pretty well. He threw one bad pitch that got hit, but it's not like it's been in the past where it's Gratterall and Kopech and Phillips and Trinan and just one guy after the next that is just going to slam the door shut. Right now, it's a little bit more of a high wire act. You're asking to cover a bunch of middle innings from basically guys that are starting pitchers, whether it's Justin Robleski, Kasperius is kind of a swing guy that can go either way. We saw Emmett Sheehan in that role for a period of time. Obviously, he's dropped into the rotation as they've gone to a six-man rotation there. But the Dodger bullpen is a really interesting organism because clearly the guys in charge, Andrew Friedman and whatnot, feel like it's good enough because they really didn't upgrade it in any major way. They go and they get Brock Stewart, and I'm still hopeful that he will find his sea legs in a Dodger uniform, but he's been a little shaky since coming over from Minnesota, and they're going to need to. Blake Treinen's been really shaky since coming back off the IL. They need to figure that part out because unless, it all comes back to where we started, Harry, that unless they're hitting a bunch of home runs and giving these guys 5-6 run leads every night, which we know isn't going to happen on a regular basis, it is a high wire act. And there's none of those guys that just absolutely, okay, good, this guy's in, it's all good. Maybe with the exception of Vezia, and even he had a hiccup yesterday.
Yeah, and then we also got to talk about Brock Stewart.
Yeah.
He went in there in the 9th inning and he got rocked again. The Cardinals were able to get an insurance run off of him. And before coming on the air and recording this podcast, I was going through his stats with the Twins because we were looking at him and it's like, man, he's a righty killer. He's going to come in, shut the door against those guys and leave the game in a great situation for the rest of the bullpen or to end the game. The reality is, over the last 5 days with the Dodgers, 2.3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs in 3 games. Meanwhile, with the Twins, his last 11 times on the mound with Minnesota, 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. In the entire month of July, 10 innings pitched, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. In the entire month of July, he allowed the same amount of runs that he has allowed with the Dodgers over the last 5 days. He's just not in a good spot right now.
He's not. And look, I'll be optimistic here. And I'm going to give Brock Stewart a little bit of grace right here. I would imagine two things are happening at the same time. Number one, getting traded. I mean, think about how weird of an experience that must be. Like you and I, Harry, we just don't go to work one day and our employer says, oh, by the way, you don't work here anymore. You work in another city on the other side of the country where you don't know a single person and bye, see ya, you're gone today. That's just a bizarre reality of being a major leaguer. So I think that going to a new team with a new city with new teammates, I'm gonna be patient with the acclimation process of just getting squared away in your life before we really chew on his performance on the mound. That's number one. Number two is I know that it's 60 feet 6 inches. I know the grip on his pitches are the same. I know that his mechanics are the same, but you can't tell me it's the same pitching for the Minnesota Twins where who cares, quite frankly? They're not going to go to the World Series. The games are, maybe they'll grab a wild card. Maybe they won't. The stakes are very, very low to every game is a full house with Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, 2-time World Series in the last 5 years. Just the stakes are massive every single time that you walk out there. That's going to take a minute to get used to that difference. And the stuff is good. The velocity looks pretty good. The spin looks pretty good. So I think he'll figure it out. I'm still pretty optimistic there in the long term, but not everybody is cut out for this. I think he'll be okay, but it would be nice to see one of those days where the guy in Minnesota just comes out and boom, 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 can boom, boom, boom for the Dodgers, because so far it's been a bit of a bumpy introduction to LA, but it still is in the introductory phase, I should say.
And it was quite the opposite for Alex Call, who got his first start against the lefty with the Dodgers. He got 2 hits. He had an incredible catch in the first batter of the game for Shohei Ohtani. He crashed into the wall, had Shohei Ohtani extending his arms, like celebrating that big play. And I posted on Twitter, hey, Alex Call better get an invite after the game to dinner at Shohei's and get to meet the family in Decoy, because he did a good job. He had another great catch at left field. So Alex Call, he's in pretty much the same situation. He went from a team that had the second worst record in the National League when he got traded from the Nationals to the Dodgers, and now he's playing with a team loaded with superstars instead of going over, James Wood, the former Padres prospect that got traded over there in the Juan Soto trade, and now he's killing it. From going and playing with one great guy in James Wood to now having James Woods all over the field, it's a different experience, and hopefully. And Brock was here before, but he wasn't here in the Shohei Ohtani era. He wasn't here when they were winning the World Series. So it's a different beast, a different monster.
It is. And I think that pitchers are a very different animal than position players. That Alex Call, and I'm taking nothing away. He was good yesterday. Full stop. He was really good. But being one of 9 guys to go out there and swing a bat and being one of 9 guys to make a nice running catch or make a nice play, you can blend in a little bit. It's a little bit easier to find your way, you know, especially if you're batting down in the order, especially if, you know, it's not when you're a pitcher like Stewart is, you are on center stage. There is no help. There is no someone else is going to, you know, participate in this. You either fail or you succeed. Those are the only 2 options. There is no blending into the woodwork when you're on the mound. You can't do it. It is the ultimate center stage spotlight. And if you do well, everybody loves you. You give up a couple of hits, it's like, well, that guy can't do anything right. You know, if you stand out in right field or left field for 9 innings, ball may never even come to you. You know, if you go 0 for 3 in a game, and maybe people notice, maybe they don't. Maybe none of those outs are made in the middle of big innings. And it's a little bit easier to blend in. And again, Call was really good, and I'm glad that they have him. But the pitching is always a much higher bar. The stakes are much higher. So I look at that through a little slightly different lens.
Yeah, and now we talked about the bullpen. Let's talk quickly about the defense.
Yeah,
Man,
right.
so frustrating. 3rd inning, Miguel Rojas lost the ball in the sky with the sun. That runner ends up scoring a run after stealing 2nd, advancing to 3rd on a productive out, and then getting home on a bunt with 2 outs with the 3rd baseman practically playing at short. That was something that I just couldn't wrap my head around. And then in the 8th inning, a disaster happened because with a 3-2 lead, a single to center field, the Cardinals tie the game. Pages throws the ball to 3rd base, trying to get the out. Too late. Then Freeland at 3rd base tries to throw the ball to 2nd base to get the out there. It ends up at right field, and St. Louis scored what ended up being the game-winning run with that error. We can't be committing these kinds of mistakes. You're major leaguers. I understand that Alex Freeland is completing, his first week in the big leagues, but you just got to swallow it, keep it there in your glove, and be like, let's play to live another out and get this out of the way.
I think that's it right there. That was obviously, it's a physical error. It's a bad throw. It goes into right field. But the part that bothered me about it, Harry, it was the decision in the first place. I don't even know if a perfect throw has a chance of getting him out. I don't, you know, and I don't want guys to play tentatively and just always be afraid of making a mistake. I like aggressiveness. I like trying to make things happen. But, you know, there always has to be at least the chance of collecting an out before you make a play. And I don't think there was a chance to collect an out right there. I think that the runner was going to get to 2nd base, even with a perfect throw. I thought it was a bad decision more than it was necessarily a physical error. And that's the sort of things with the Dodgers that when you see them throw to the wrong base, when you see them, you know, make a decision like that where there's not the availability of collecting an out, those are the ones that make you go, come on, guys, let's lock in. Let's play better baseball. You know, a ball that comes up and hits a guy in the heel of the glove, that's going to happen. You know, a spiked throw across the infield, that's going to happen. Those are just physical errors. It's the mental errors to me that are the more challenging ones. And even though it was a bad throw, I thought the decision to throw it all was the problem. And it like you said, it cost him the game, and you could feel it. Just that the Dodgers had some momentum. Show was great. He hit a home run. He pitched really well. Wroblewski was good enough to kind of get you to where you needed to be at that point of the game. And then you give it away with a bad decision. It's deeply unsatisfying.
And look, the Dodgers weren't going to get the runner at home. They were going to weren't get the runner at 3rd. Just throw the ball to 2nd base. Avoid the runner advancing from 1st to 2nd on a single, and go on and try to get the next out at the plate. And Andy Pages, I would say it's a 70-30. There's a 70% chance that he does a good play at center field catching the ball. But unfortunately, we've also seen that those miscues of him out in the outfield, not reading the pop outs the correct way, the fly balls out to center field. But I don't think anybody can argue that he has a great arm and that we trust him 100% of the time to just throw a bomb from center field and get an out. Right there, it was just not the right decision on where to throw the ball. Just throw it to 2nd, go on and try to get the next batter out. But man, that was just frustrating. Bullpen, defense, combine both of them. If you have bad days with both, Travis, your chances of winning are very slim, especially when you just score 3 runs.
Yeah, well, there you go. I throw all of that stuff, and we're right back where we started of, the frustration of throwing to the wrong base, the frustration of making a decision to try to get an out when there is no out to be collected is compounded when you don't hit. It's compounded when the bullpen, is a little shaky along the way. And that's why I've gone more from a frustrated state of mind to a little bit of a concern. And really, it's the first time all season long where I'm like, hey, is this team just this is the team, a team that, they can beat anybody on any night. Clearly, they've got a bunch of good players, and when they hit, they're going to win. But can they win when it gets really tight, when a good decision wins the game, a bad decision loses the game? Can they win those sorts of games on a consistent basis? And I don't know. We'll see. They really need to tighten up here over the last 6-7 weeks of the season.
Exactly. Well, that's something where the Dodgers, they got time. We got a month and a half, a month and change to get everything together. But for now, that'll do it for today's show, because from Travis and I, we thank you for being part of Locked On Dodgers and making us your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also catch Pete Fox after every Dodgers game on our YouTube channel with his live postcast. Travis will be back tomorrow, Friday, ahead of what will be a huge series for the Dodgers against the team with the best record in the American League in the Toronto Blue Jays. What? Travis, when was the last time that Toronto had a better record than the Dodgers? I'm in complete shock.
I think Dave Winfield and Joe Carter were on the Blue Jays when that happened the last time. They're hot. They're really good, and it should be a great series. It's a great litmus test for the Dodgers, and I can't wait to see it.
I hope they were saving those runs from Wednesday for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because they're going to need them against the Blue Jays. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real. Keep it Dodger Blue.